Recording? Oh. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rally Community Meeting. It's Friday, October 1st. Have a really fun presentation for you guys today. Let's run through the agenda. First, Mike Lee's going to give us some updates on KPIs. Then Jason's going to give us the update on the Creator Council. Lots of voting on that. So he's going to walk you through where that's shaken out. And then finally, we have Andre Chevalier II and Ian Brown, who are here to check with Nick Millman. They recently brought on Jalen Clark as well as Cole Seeley. They're going to talk about the enormous opportunity for athletes in the social token space. So with that, I turn it over to Mike to hit on KPIs. Mike.
All right. A remarkably steady week compared to the last time we met. Everything here is very much in line. 157,000 bridge in, 1.01 million worth of rally bridged out. Still a steady increase in terms of the total amount of rally on the side chain. Almost at, what is that, 49 million rally or so on the side chain. I think last time we met, daily volume was like 970 something thousand. So it's very, very steady at 964,000 average daily volume. Regular increases in total coin holders. Actually, I think it's a little bit higher than usual because last week, I think we had quite a few new coins launch. And then actually the big outlier this week compared to last time we met was almost a doubling in terms of creator revenue, both in terms of fees and direct donations both went up significantly. So 161,000 this past week in going to creators in terms of donations and fees from converts. If we go to the next page, this past week's top 10 coins in terms of a number of different activities. As you'd expect, a lot of the new coins up here, but a couple of outliers. NNKC and DTQ. I think higher than typical versus some of the other coins. Otherwise, I think most of the rest are new coins. Moon is in here as well. I think from a number of transactions, I think she's doing a number of interesting things with NFTs. So a lot of NFT transactions going back and forth on the Moon coin. We can pause here for a second and then, well, I guess that's long enough. That's long enough. Otherwise, yeah. I think that's it.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Let's go over to Jason to talk about our Creator Review Council. Let's get Jason unmuted.
Yay.
Sorry about that. We'll turn it back over to you.
A lot of people prefer me in jail, but that's can't hold me down. Hey, everybody. Thanks for a few minutes here on the new community council members. So we have two councils that we were looking for. Community participation is a big pillar of our community engagement strategy, is to have people with, the old term is skin in the game, but really to be a part of rally in the deepest, most meaningful way, engaging with us as staff, plus the rest of the community as evangelists and mentors. And so we had the Creator Review Council in the past, and a little bit of the mission and focus is changing slightly into more of a mentorship opportunity. And that new council, has 7 seats, of which there are 3 incumbent members, including myself and Tuan. That we had 4 available seats, and the voting came out that Mason of AliCoin and Metaphorical of his own coin KKCR and Xtina from Woman Coin were all creators that were voted for. And then from the community, VUCA became our second community member to come alongside 60 Mofo. And before I move to the CDC, I wanted to say a big thank you to Grand Marquis, who was a big member of our community from not only just our general community, the Rally community, the Creator Coin community, but also really as a founding member of the Creator Review Council. It was a pleasure to work with him, amazing member of our community. He's still alive, everybody. He's going to find some other projects to work on. Notably, he had a proposal also out there to create a curriculum at UC Berkeley around social tokens. So very excited to see how that plays out here in the near future. The second council, brand new council for the ecosystem here. The Community Developers Council. So as a means to really like focus on how developers are using the API and building tools for creators, we wanted to build a squad of really great developers that have been building on our platform, plus some creators and also community members to help us really drive the best tools and products that we can make and offer, and be a platform for builders to come build on. So from this group, the winners here were Dave Young, who is a developer and a creator on our platform. Mr. Q02, also known as Richard, who has been developing on our platform as well. Melissa from Bonfire. Chris Messina, who has the hash coin and really strong product person out in technology spaces. We're really well known, so that's great. And then Vidresh, who has been a community ambassador and is now part of the SuperLayer staff. So he'll be a part of it. And then our two appointees from the Rally side are our beloved Scott, who works for Rally, but is also developing, has a coin and works to develop products and all the great work he does. And then Phelps, who's been with us for almost nearly a year as also a community ambassador, has been deep in the developer community, making the best of meshing up developers and creators and getting those tools into the right hands. So thank you to everybody that nominated. Thank you to everybody that voted. We had almost 250 people, distinct people vote. So it was really great to see the Rally community turn out for this.
That's awesome. Congratulations on behalf of everybody from Rally. Really excited to continue to work with you guys on this for all the fun we're going to have in the future. All right, now let's go over to, I think this is our interview section. Yes. We are really lucky today to have Andre Chevalier II and Ian Brown here, and we're going to have our own Nick Millman speak to them for 15 minutes or so. Nick?
Cool. Thanks, Kurt. And thank you, Andre and Ian, for joining the call. Excited to chat with you guys. And just to clarify, I think Kurt mentioned, but Ian and Andre are the co-founders of ACIB Management, which is a sports marketing and management firm based out in LA. It's obviously specializing in athletes, both in the college and professional space. I think Ian and Andre both, met in college. They're both athletes growing up. Ian spent some time in finance and private equity. Andre was in sort of the music management and label space, and they connected over the last year or so in founding ACIB. We got connected to them through, I don't know, however people get connected, through a mutual connection, sort of right around the time that the name, image, and likeness rules were changing in the NCAA, for those who have been following it, where basically the athletes are now able to monetize themselves and do brand deals and partnerships and lots of interesting things to sort of capitalize on their fame and platform other than just the schools. And, Ian and Andre were positioned super well with ACIB to start working in that field, and we were really excited to work with them. So first of all, welcome. Thank you guys again. To start off, and this could go for either of you, I guess first, what does ACIB stand for? I'm guessing it's your initials, but what does it stand for? And I guess like a little background on how you sort of started the company.
Yeah, absolutely. First, thank you for having us. Excited to be here. Excited to be a part of the Rally community moving forward. So ACIB is our initials, Andre Chevalier and Ian Brown. And how this all started, it was in college. Andre and I were both roommates. And we started talking pretty early about what the college landscape might look like if the NIL rules were passed. So fast forward, we graduate out of college. Both of us are I'm working in finance, Dre's working for music. And we continued that conversation, continued brainstorming about what this might look like. That brainstorm turned into what we have with ACIB today.
And yeah, we just, the initial conversation actually was you know, trying to do management or agency work for professionals. You know, that was the ultimate goal. But once we started doing more research and finding out more information about NIL and college athletes being able to make money off their name, image, and likeness, you know, the more it made sense for us to fully engage in this market and kind of get a head start per se to start working in this market and trying to find the best ways to navigate it and you know, be kind of an exclusive management group.
Well, yeah, I think for me, like I've been obviously a big sports fan and following the NCAA and, you know, knew this was eventually going to happen, but the NIL rules definitely, it felt a little, maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention, but it felt like they sort of came out of nowhere a little bit. I mean, what have the last like 6 months been like? I mean, imagine it's a little bit of a free for all out there. You're seeing these, you know, Alabama QBs, everyone's doing brand deals and stuff. Like what's it kind of like?
It's been a whirlwind, man. It's been crazy, but luckily we started working on this really early. We started preparing for the NIL being passed a year and a half in advance. So we felt like we were ready for when it was passed. That's why we're kind of having this conversation today. We really started thinking about what could be possible for these athletes early, and now we're just trying to run with it.
Cool. And I assume you think it's a positive thing, right? The NIL, like you guys are in favor of it generally.
Extremely positive. It's something that's been needed in the college space for so long. Finally, these guys are able to make money that they rightly deserve.
Absolutely. And, you know, Ian and I being former athletes ourselves, you know, we've kind of seen how, you know, the system works and how, you know, we're used for our talents in some cases. And, you know, we don't really see anything in return. Obviously, getting a free education, you know, you can't beat that. But especially for the athletes that were at bigger schools than Ian and I were, those kids deserve to, you know, be making money. And that was kind of what we got into it for, was making sure that, you know, high level athletes would be able to start making money on their name, image, and likeness as soon as possible, and make money on all those things as long as they can. You know, some of those guys are incredible and amazing in college, but it doesn't pan out for them in the NFL or NBA professionally. And so, you know, our goal is to make sure that those guys can monetize while they can.
Totally. And obviously at the high level with Alabama and Ohio State and all this stuff, like that sort of makes sense. I mean, I know you guys are both connected to Sierra Canyon, which is a big high school sports program out in LA. LeBron and Dwayne Wade and a bunch of other folks' kids play there. I mean, is this trickling down to the high school level? Like how far down is it going right now?
Yeah, it's going down to the high school level as well. It's actually only, so NIL is only legal in California and Florida right now. So only those two states at the high school level can players monetize off their name, image, and likeness. So the other states are kind of at a disadvantage in that sense right now, because, you know, they aren't willing to pass that bill or, you know, allow their athletes to monetize. So, you know, we kind of see a lot of kids that are high level athletes in other states. They're going to start migrating probably to California and Florida in the next year or so. So yeah, that's definitely a great thing for us, because that connection to Sierra Canyon is a little bit more valuable now that NIL is allowed to be monetized in high school.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, moving on to the crypto stuff, I mean, before, you know, when we all met a few months ago, I mean, what was both of your experiences in the crypto space before that, just in general?
For sure. So I was into crypto a little bit. I've dabbled, grew up with crypto. Really, Bitcoin came out when I was in high school. A lot of my friends got into it, so I've been reading on it since it came out, but am in no way an expert. We often lean on our crypto expert Floyd Pitts for a lot of that information, but just learning every day. Just trying to figure out where these athletes might fit in this crypto world as it's constantly changing, as the college space is constantly changing. So just trying to find where we fit in.
Same here. Probably a couple years later than Ian into the crypto space, but just investing, doing a lot of research, and trying to learn as much as possible on, you know, all the crypto space as a whole.
Cool. I mean, before our first conversation about Rally, I mean, were you guys explicitly, obviously, crypto was sort of blowing up in the market. I'm sure everyone was talking about it. Like, were you guys explicitly trying to find a way to loop your roster and your athletes into it? Like, how much thought did you put into it before our first convo?
Absolutely. Yeah, we put a lot of thought into it because crypto is a huge differentiator, and it allows people to make money in very interesting ways. And like Dre was saying, Dre and I both came from a very small school, but it has a community. Every single school has a community. So allowing these athletes to reach those communities in the best ways possible, we kept coming back to crypto is the best way to do it. Crypto is the best way to do it. So it's really become the tip of our spear and kind of how we view NIL deals moving forward. These guys need to have a crypto aspect. So it just worked out perfectly that the connection to Rally happened, and we're able to run with it this way.
Absolutely. And another one of our ideas was that, we wanted to give the power back to the players as much as possible. And, we think that educating these guys and getting them coached up on, all kinds of different things for crypto and also Rally Coin, it just gives them the perfect platform to be able to utilize all their abilities and all the possibilities of NIL.
Cool. Yeah, I felt that the community aspect for the college athletes was definitely one of the cooler parts for me. I think so. Obviously, as Kurt mentioned, we've launched, working together, Jalen Clark, who's a UCLA basketball player, Cole Seeley, the CS14 coin, who's sort of a motocross legend, a little different category. And then Kyle McLagan, also a professional soccer player. For Jalen specifically, who was the first one, he's not like a super household name like star. Like I think maybe he'll make the NBA. We'll see. But big season coming up for him. But I was really surprised. I mean, the virality of his coin and the press around it, and like all the UCLA blogs picking it up, and like his teammates talking about it, and I'm sure people on campus were talking about it. I thought it was just a really cool like community atmosphere around when his coin launched. I don't know what your guys' experience was with the launch, but if you could talk a little about Jalen specifically and kind of your approach to what he's doing.
For sure. So
go ahead.
So Jalen's incredible, man. And he's the perfect person to use for this. So when we were trying to figure out who would be the best to start with this initiative, it was obviously Jalen. He is extremely active on social media, all of the large basketball social media companies, all of them that have their posts. Jalen is constantly commenting. He's constantly putting up his YouTube videos. So he was already active in his community and was building a pretty strong one. So it only made sense bringing him on.
Yeah, I remember when you guys first shared his name with me, which admittedly I'm a pretty big college basketball fan, but hadn't heard of him. And I was looking him up, and I was watching some of his like YouTube videos where he's like cooking in his apartment and all these things. And he just felt like a really fun guy that would do some interesting things with it, off the court, and use obviously his profile as a basketball player to help grow it. And obviously, but had a ton of other interests, and that's definitely shined through it as well.
And also with Jalen too, he was actually into the crypto space when we first met him, and so it was kind of like a perfect synergy there, because he was like, yeah, like I love doing research on crypto, and I'm super into that. And we had started our initial talks with Rally by that point, so it was just a perfect match.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're big fans of Rally. Obviously, we're not the only company in the crypto space. I mean, when athletes and people, I'm sure you guys are getting hit up all the time for things like this. Like, what is your sort of general advice to both your current clients and anyone who reaches out sort of about crypto in general? How are you sort of guiding them to approach it? Maybe for someone who like doesn't know a ton about it and is just sort of trying to figure it out.
Yeah, our general advice is to do your reading. Make sure you know the basics of crypto, blockchain. We're always sending out articles to our guys, making sure that Floyd is having conversations with people, making sure that they know exactly how this stuff is working first, and then explaining how a company like Rally might be able to help them, and they might be able to utilize blockchain technology so that they can monetize the communities that they're already involved in.
And a big part of our company, our mission statement is, like we said before, educating these kids. Like we really want to make sure we're doing our due diligence to make sure that our athletes are aware of what they're doing, whether it's with Rally or if they choose to invest, helping them with that, invest in other crypto coins or whatever they do. But we're huge on education and making sure that they know what they're doing, and guiding them along the way.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, my perspective in talking to a lot of these guys and, some of those who are 18, 19, 20, I mean, it feels like they just like sort of viscerally understand a lot of this better than even the guys who are like mid 20s, late 20s, like the people growing up now in their teens they're growing up with this as part of the internet really. And so, they understand it, more than the managers and people guiding them sometimes. So it's cool to speak to some of these kids who really get it, I think at like a fundamental level, Jalen and everyone you're working with included.
Absolutely. And back to the point of, Jalen not being a household name. We kind of found beauty in that. Like, he's not a household name, but, we were able to get him PR and, have his drop blow up as if he were a household name. And, this is such a new space, NIL and crypto. And it was just a perfect synergy for that, that story to blow up. And our goal with Jalen now is, to make him the face of crypto for the NIL for college sports. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that's becoming a little bit more realistic each week, just because of the story that was him dropping his coin Rally. Yeah.
And I think one of his former teammates who's playing overseas already hit you guys up to do something, right?
He is. And potentially other things that are close to him as well coming forward.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, awesome. Well, yeah, that's all I got. I don't know if Kurt, you have anything to add, but thank you guys both for partnering with us on all this stuff. And we're really, really excited about it and for joining the call and sharing a bit of your story and company.
Absolutely. We're happy to be a part of the team.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
Cool. Let's open it up now to questions. If anybody has a question, please pop it in the chat for Jason, for Mike, for Ian, Andre, or Nick. While we wait, you guys talked a lot about education and how important that is. I think at Rally, that's something we focus on every single day. Curious, like, are there patterns that you're hearing where folks really get things? And then are there areas where they really don't, where you have to lean in a little bit more and explain parts of either it's a social token or NFT?
More so what we've found is the whole grasp of the whole thing. Understanding crypto as a whole, and then being able to break it down to explain what section of crypto and blockchain is Rally involved in, and then how does that work exactly. So really just breaking down crypto and blockchain into small pieces that are a little bit easier to understand with this dense information, and then going from there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Most of the questions that we get whenever we're, telling people about this space is, they want to know, like, well, how is Rally like making money off of this? How are they benefiting from this? And, because they start questioning things and they don't really understand it, and they don't understand that, bringing users to the platform is beneficial. And, so their questions start becoming, like, well, are they taking a cut of the coin? Are they doing this, whatever, and so it's just explaining that and trying to get people to lift their curtain of fear, so that they can see, all the good and all the value that comes out of working with the Rally coin.
No, that makes sense. I think that's in line with a lot that we hear every day at Rally. One last question. I would imagine that after the Jalen news broke, you guys were getting hit up by a ton of different athletes. I'm wondering now, is there sort of a formula in which you sort of say, all right, this is the caliber or not knowledge base of crypto and basic community to kind of work with, or just kind of what that formula is when you're sort of figuring out the type of athlete to take to Rally or another project?
For sure. Yeah. After that article came out, it's been a whirlwind of athletes trying to figure out how they can do the same thing or something similar. And what we're really looking for is their community. What have they built? What do they have around them to really utilize the platform and utilize it in a correct way is what we're mainly focusing on.
Well, thank you guys so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. everybody, we'll do the next call on October 15th. It's actually going to be Rally's 1-year birthday. So we're going to try to figure out what some sort of celebration is going to look like. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Everybody have a great weekend.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
for the time again.
Thanks. Bye.